What's good, guys? Welcome back to Red Vision channel. Now, I've had at least 3 people ask me my name. I think that upon every introduction, I'm going to mention my name as well. When I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I really don't mention my name, so a lot of people don't know my name. But here we go. Here's a new introduction. What up, guys? Welcome back to Red Vision channel. My name is Cephas, and today episode, yeah, that sounds better. So today we'll be talking about 10 reasons why African Americans from all over the world are returning back to Liberia. Now, before I get into today's video, like I always mention, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When I check my YouTube statistics, I get depressed, guys. Come on, help me out here. According to the statistics, only about 30% or so of you guys are subscribed. And most of you are the ones who watch the video every time. So please subscribe to the channel. That's one of the best ways you can help us out. And also, we are looking for a content creator. Please spread the word. We're looking for a content creator in Liberia. The person will be part of Liberia to the World team, but will be based in Liberia, responsible for certain content. We will go over the job description, but it is a paid. We'll pay you every month for this partnership. Let us know if you're in Liberia and you're interested. Please inbox us to redvisionco@gmail.com. redvisionco@gmail. Now, if you also know if you're anywhere else in the diaspora, but you know somebody in Liberia that will be your best fit for the job, it could be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It has to be at least 18. So number one, obviously this is the same for Liberians or diaspora Liberians and anybody like that, but also African American. A lot of African Americans moving to Liberia. Most of them are also still in the consideration process, and also most of them are currently in Liberia. I've had the chance to speak with so many of them that I'm going to bring on the channel in the future. But number one reason why African Americans are moving back to Liberia is that sense of belonging. So the Black excellence, the sense of belonging, that connection, right, back to your roots, because we all know the history of Liberia as far as the free Black slaves who came all the way back in 1822, that settled in Liberia. So most African Americans in today's age, people are doing genetic tests to kind of find their heritage. People now want to have that sense of belonging, right? Everybody wants to know where they're coming from. And most African Americans don't really know where they're coming from, right? So a lot of African Americans do find themselves connected to Liberia in a certain way. So when they do go back to Liberia or visit, they have that sense of belonging, sense of finding your roots, finding your heritage, and feeling like you're at home. So number one reason why African American are moving back to Liberia is because of that. And also, we all know being Black in any part of the world, it has its good and some bad, right? As far as the sense of not belonging, the oppression, discrimination, racism, and all of that stuff. But when you do move back to Liberia and you notice your surrounding, the people around you, everybody look like you. And again, you have that connection, that sense of, okay, I'm back to where my ancestors came, or in some way in the continent, right, where my ancestors are from, or where they return back to. So number one reason why African Americans are moving back to Liberia is because of that sense of belonging, Black excellence, and feeling like you're at home. Second reason why African Americans all over the world are moving back to Liberia is because of hospitality. Now, Africans as a whole are hospitable people, right? They're people who are loving and caring, and they really especially love to care for strangers or visitors. It's not different from Liberia. Liberia is one of those countries where when you go, especially if you're not from there, the warmth, the welcoming people welcome you and people treat you good, right? And you see smiley faces, friendly. They're always really inquisitive. They like to get to know you better. So people who are not from Liberia, African Americans especially, who return to Liberia, find themselves in the midst of this warmth, right? The very welcoming feeling, and makes you feel at home. A Liberian would never shy away from a stranger. They always want to ask questions. They want to get to know you, and they're normally genuinely interested in getting to know you, right? And we hear this from everywhere. We hear this from people on this channel, people when I was in Ghana and in other parts of Africa and Europe. You hear people who are not Liberian telling you, well, I've had a Liberian friend or a Liberian coworker or whatever it is, and those are one of the friendliest people that you can meet. So that's one of the reasons why African Americans are moving back to Liberia, is because of the hospitality that makes you feel at home. You get that sense, again, ties into the first point I make. You do get that sense of belonging, but also the people around you just make you feel loved. The people around you they show genuine interest in you. The people around you makes you feel happy, right? They come with an open arm. They come with a smiley face. They offer you what they have. So that's one thing you will notice quickly about Liberians. Very loving people, very friendly people, very hospitable people. And that's one of the catchy. That's the thing that catches you the most when you go to Liberia, and you just feel this sense of love, right? So second reason why most African Americans are moving back to Liberia. The third reason why African Americans are moving back to Liberia has to do with property value. Now, we all know Liberia has had civil war. If you're a fan of this channel, you know the good and the bad. You know the challenges Liberia has. It's a developing country. We're getting there. We're still far back, but we're getting there. What that means, though, is it's a good time to get in, right? It's a good time to move to Liberia, or at least establish something in Liberia. As the country progresses, things will get more and more expensive and stuff like that. So property value. Right now, building a beautiful home in Liberia is relatively cheap. And like we said, as more and more people are building, as more people are moving back, as more infrastructures and things are being done, which it is on the way, everything is going to go up. The house you could build for $20,000 5 years ago would not be the same, today, right? And 10 years from now, your $25,000, $50,000 house you can build will cost you between $75,000 to $100,000, right? So same thing with property value. A lot of African Americans who have some disposable income, some excess fund, or just wanting, like I said, change of environment, find themselves really loving Liberia because it's cheaper to build in Liberia. The labor cost, again, ties into my other videos I've made. The labor cost is low. You can get a lot of people to help build your home. And materials, again, there are neighboring countries that will get you affordable materials or even locally made materials to help build your home, right? And there are a group of skilled labor force in Liberia that are very affordable. And like as far as land, right? Compared to other countries, it'll cost you 2, 3, 4 times the same amount of money that it will cost you in Liberia to acquire, like for instance, like a beachfront property, or build like a 5-story building home in Liberia. That's going to cost a lot less. And over time, we all know how, owning land and property works, right? Those things almost never go down in pricing. It always go up. So every year, you gain more and more value on your property, more and more value on your land. So it's a very enticing thing for African Americans who are moving back, knowing that they can own a beautiful piece of property that makes you feel like you're in Miami because of the weather is nice and everything, but also costs a fraction of what it will cost to build, even for example in other African countries. So Liberia is a very attractive place for investors and African Americans to go back and build, buy properties, acquire land and such. That's point number 3. Point number 4 is pretty short. It's constitutional benefits. Basically, it's the same thing I just mentioned earlier. It states in the Constitution, compared to other African countries, if you go there, it takes a lot. You have to go through a lot to be able to, for example, acquire land. That's pretty easy in Liberia. Liberia, you can acquire land as long as if you're African American or you're black and you're of black descent, right? It's pretty easy to do so. It's this, even that in the Constitution somewhere. I think so, I hope. But from my research, it does. So that's another great value. You will find African Americans who go to Liberia find it very easy to acquire properties and acquire land in the country, which is an attractive thing. Now, there are a few African countries that do this, but not all. So that's a really attractive feature, or at least value, of going to Liberia. All right. And point number 5 is business opportunity. Again, this should ring a bell to you guys, especially if you're a subscriber of the channel. If you watch most of the videos, you will know already. I've mentioned this before. Most African Americans are moving back or should move back, as you add, especially those who have not considered, those who are still considering, should move back because of the business opportunity. Like I said, I've mentioned this several times on the channel. Liberia is a great place to invest. Amazing place to invest because of the return on your investment, right? People are pouring into the country. Money is being poured into the country by diaspora Liberians, by local Liberians who are now gaining access to more funding from abroad or opening more businesses, right? So Liberia is a place where you can open a business. If you do it the right way in the right location, you can make significant amount of money. And the cost of opening and running your business is a lot cheaper compared to other countries. Now, I've mentioned before in other videos the challenges that you can face whilst running business in Liberia, like electricity, paying for gas and stuff like that. But overall, like for instance, if you go the solar panel route and if you set up the business in the right way, running business in Liberia should be relatively cheaper and easier compared to other countries that has a lot of moving parts and a lot of roadblocks, right? And that's, again, like I said, acquiring labor is one of the most difficult things for an upcoming business. People spend a lot of money on that. People find it difficult to acquire really sustainable or like at least reliable employees who are willing to stick with the company. Again, Liberia has a lot of human resource. People are just out there looking for opportunities. So investing in Liberia, opening a business in Liberia, like a big business, small business, a factory, and things like that. Again, I mentioned this in some video I made, right, about a fact of Liberia. Liberia owns one of the youngest population. Young people are fast learners. They have energy. They're eager to have opportunities, right? So they would jump on it. They will stick with it. They will learn faster. And you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to get those people to work on your workforce because they're just there looking for an opportunity. So a great thing for African Americans moving back to Liberia, a great incentive for you guys to all consider Liberia as a place of destination, as a place to relocate, as a place to establish business, as a place to invest in. Liberia is an amazing place for investments. So that's a good feature there for you as well. All right, and let's talk about safety, right? Now, I know when it comes to safety, the most doubtful people about Liberia being safe are Liberians. Why is that, right? One thing, too, is Liberians, we love, which is not a good thing, right? We kind of pay attention more to negative things than positive things. So, for example, Liberia is a relatively safe country. If you take the top, let's say the top 25 African countries with the highest crime rate, Liberia is not part of it. If you take the top 30 safest countries to be in Africa, Liberia is part of it. So Liberia doesn't rank anywhere near those countries that have high crime rates, right? And when it comes to organized crimes and petty crimes and things like that, Liberia is nowhere near the top 20 or 25 as we Liberians would like to think. We Liberians would like to think that Liberia is very unsafe, but it is not. You know, I'll put some links down below for you guys to do more research. But Liberia is a relatively safe country, which means coming back to Liberia, you should be fine. You know, you wouldn't even worry about organized crime. But compared to other countries where people have resources to do real organized crime, the kind of crimes in Liberia that happens are crimes of opportunities, right? People, you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a criminal or somebody who is looking to survive or whatever it is, hurt you. Whereas organized crime is like people sit down, plan to break in the bank, plan to vandalize a business, plan to capture people for lump sum and stuff like that. These are people who have resources, armed, means and everything and backing, right? But that's not something that's in Liberia. So as far as organized crime, Liberia ranks way down on the countries with the highest level of organized crime or petty crime. So Liberia is a relatively safe country to be in, and you don't have to worry too much about the crime rate. And the next reason why African Americans are moving back or should move back is because of the culture, right? One thing that people kind of lose when they're in America is culture. the American culture is a combination of so many things. There isn't like a real like a culture you can stick to. You know, those who were born here, those who are Americans, have what they consider their culture as far as a combination of things, maybe food and dressing and music and stuff like that. But one thing too, African Americans are moving back to Liberia is to experience the Liberian culture. It's a beautiful thing, the traditional culture. But I think the main thing is with Liberian culture is it's pretty adaptable. We retain our culture. At the same time, we're open to new things, right? We're open to adopting people into our culture. We're open to give people the experience of our culture. We're open to introduce other people to our culture. So that's one thing African Americans find very, very easy for people to adapt into the culture. And African Americans should consider going to Liberia because they will really experience that culture that they don't have to worry about getting into or being shunned or being an outsider. We are open arms people. We would love to introduce you to our culture, our food, the way of life, the dressing, the language, and all of that stuff is something that African Americans love and would love if they go to Liberia to experience. All right. And in regards to the culture is the weather, right? So Liberia has one of the best weather as far as in Africa. Other African countries are probably a little too hot most of the time. And those in the northern, the weather is okay. But as far as Liberia weather, we have this kind of tropical Miami type of feel, right? It kind of makes you feel more at home for African Americans who are moving back. You have a beautiful sea breeze. It's warm. On your hot days, you still have a little bit of undertone of like coolness. So it's not too humid. And you know, we go to other African countries, we go to Puerto Rico and places like that to experience the rainforest, to experience nature, right? And Liberia has those in abundance. So it's just one of the most beautiful places you can go to, even though with its struggle and all of these undertone of darkness that is going on in the country that's been going on for years. The Liberian people are just one of the most vigorating people, right? We overcome, no matter what happened, we've been through a lot, but we still yet overcome and walk around with open heart and a smile on our face, right? No matter what we're facing. So that kind of ties into everything as far as experiencing that beautiful weather, experiencing nature in its true form, right? And that's something that is in America, you know, as an African American, you have to go to other places. But this one, you can go to another place, which is Liberia, but also kind of again ties into all of those points I mentioned previously, making you feel at home, the sense of belonging and all of that, whilst you're experiencing the beautiful nature and the weather and the culture and all of that ties into it. So another reason why a lot of African Americans are moving back to Liberia, and another reason why a lot of African Americans should move back to Liberia. And last reason is to rewrite a chapter, right? Let me talk about this. Rewriting a chapter could just be a sense of a new self. We all know being black in America, being black in Europe, being black in Asia, it comes with a lot of disadvantages, right? We always feel out of place. You know, a black person anywhere can call that place home, but we know our true home is Africa, right? So rewriting that chapter in your life, most of us that live in the diaspora go through a lot. You know, we all know. I don't have to be explicit about it, right? We all know the things we go through day on, day off, every single day. We go through just having to push extra hard just to be on the playing level field as everybody else. We always have to do more as being black, right? We always have to fight. We always have to march. We always have to protest. We always have to do all of these things. Now, Africa, on the other hand, yes, things happen that we correct. We talk about, we protest about and stuff like that. But that's kind of like within the family, right? In your family, there are things that go wrong. You talk about it, you argue about it and stuff like that. Same thing. But at the end of the day, you still feel like you still belong to your family. So same thing here. It gives African Americans a chance to rewrite their lives, right? And just having, and you will see this, right? You watch videos of African Americans who transition to Africa. It's a different feeling of self-worth, right? It's a feeling of belonging. It's a feeling of being at home. It's just this new, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's just this breath of fresh air, just looking around you, experiencing nature, just knowing that, you know what, hundreds of years ago, this continent is where my people came from. And I'm back here on this soil, right? So giving you that sense of new life, a new self. And it's a different feeling, guys. Trust me. Those who are living back home, and encouraging those who are planning on moving back to Africa. If you've considered relocating from US or Europe to another place, I would highly recommend Africa. I would highly recommend Liberia as one of the places you should relocate to, because you have the time of your life. It's like a life-changing experience. A lot of great opportunities for you guys out there. And people are going to welcome you with open arms. The country is set up that way. The country has a heritage, like we all know. If you don't know anything about Liberia, I would encourage you just to research history of Liberia, and you quickly realize how we all ties back to Liberia. African Americans all over the world, how we all have some kind of connection to Liberia in some way, shape, or form. So again, that sense of rewriting your life, rewriting the chapters in your life, your families, and stuff like that, it's just an amazing feeling. And I think it's a decision that you will never, ever regret. So there it is, guys. Before I go, though, I do want to say, let me get in close. Let me get in close. All right, guys. So you all know I'm a wedding photographer. We do the most wedding, I'll say, in Minnesota. Yeah, that's for sure. But also one of the top photographers for weddings in the US as far as African or Liberian. So it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. If you are a subscriber or if you're watching this video, I want to give you a code. The code is LIB2W. LIB2W. That's the code when you use for 30% off any of our wedding packages. Again, that's a great way to support the channel, because our wedding business, or Red Vision, is our company that sponsors the channel. So we use funds from the company to pay for trips and bring you these videos and stuff like that, right? So a great way to support the channel is, if you're getting married, or if you know anybody getting married, to send them our link. It'll be in the description. Send them our email. It'll be in the description. Send them our business phone number. It'll be in the description. And use the code that I just gave you. It'll be in the description. There it is, guys. And I'm going to put some beautiful wedding photos on the screen so you guys have an idea. Our Instagram page is in the bottom. Our wedding video page is also going to be at the bottom. But there it is, guys. Help out the channel, help out your friends, help out your family, and let's keep this a secret. So don't just tell your people who are close to you who are getting married. There it is, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it. You already know what I'm about to do.
If I could be honest, here in this moment, I've been so nervous to stand here with you. They're all here for us, and I feel their aura. But just for a moment, I'll pretend it's just you. Yes, they can hear us, but they don't understand. I have said all of my vows behind the curtain. I know they see us, but they don't stand a chance. I have kissed those lips 1,000 times before this. Tomorrow I'll open my eyes and I will whisper to my wife, I belong to you. And I will wait to hear you say, as a tear rolls down your face, used to grow.